Hello and welcome to Talk the World Today, a global news and documentary program that takes you deep into the most important events shaping our world. Today, we turn our focus to one of the most talked about developments on the battlefield of the Ukraine war, a technology many are calling an invisibility cloak. A system claimed to make soldiers disappear from thermal imaging cameras during nighttime operations.
That's right. This is not science fiction, and it's not a Hollywood movie. It is real technology already being used in modern warfare, and it is quietly but dramatically changing how battles are fought.
If we look back at wars in the past, camouflage meant paint, patterns, forests, shadows, and darkness. But in today's battlefield, war is no longer fought only by what the human eye can see. Every movement is monitored by infrared cameras, surveillance drones, satellites, and AI systems that analyze heat signatures.
Which means no matter how well a soldier hides, as long as the human body emits heat, it can still be detected, especially at night when drone attacks are most frequent.
And this is where a silent but intense technological race begins, between those trying to see everything and those trying to disappear from sight.
Over the past year, numerous videos from the Ukrainian battlefield have shown thermal camera drones detecting enemy soldiers with remarkable accuracy, even when they are hidden in tall grass or behind tree lines.
Those images created enormous pressure on Ukrainian forces because being detected often means being targeted and attacked almost instantly with little or no warning.
As a result, Ukraine was forced to accelerate the development of new technology to counter drone warfare. One of the most notable innovations is the thermal camouflage cloak, often referred to by the media as an invisibility cloak.
The word invisible here does not mean disappearing from human eyesight. It means becoming invisible or at least misleading to infrared and thermal imaging systems.
Thermal cameras do not see colors or shapes. They detect differences in temperature. The human body, being warmer than its surroundings, appears as a bright, clear target on thermal displays.
So if body heat can be masked or blended into the surrounding environment, a soldier may appear as nothing more than a faint shadow, or sometimes disappear entirely from the enemy's screen.
And this is exactly what Ukraine is attempting to achieve, not just in laboratories, but on the real battlefield.
According to reports from April 2025, Ukraine has begun distributing thermal camouflage cloaks to frontline units, particularly reconnaissance teams, sniper units, and forces conducting night operations.
These cloaks are not ordinary fabric. They are multi-layered materials designed to control how human body heat is emitted and dispersed.
One layer reflects heat back toward the wearer. Another layer spreads heat outward to match ambient temperatures. And the outer layer is designed to visually blend with surrounding terrain.
The result is that when viewed through a thermal camera, soldiers wearing these cloaks no longer appear as bright heat signatures, but instead merge into the background.
What makes this especially interesting is that this technology did not emerge overnight. It has been developed quietly over several years under Ukraine's military innovation programs.
These programs bring together scientists, engineers, and frontline soldiers to test, refine, and evaluate equipment under real combat conditions, not just controlled laboratory environments.
Early versions reportedly had limitations, including heavy weight, discomfort, and limited operating time. But over time, the technology advanced rapidly.
In the latest versions, the cloaks are lighter, allow greater mobility, and can be used alongside helmets, body armor, and standard weapons without interference.
However, while Ukraine moves forward, Russia has not remained idle. Russian forces have also attempted to develop counter-drone and thermal protection equipment.
Yet, in many cases, the results have been the opposite of what was intended. Numerous Ukrainian drone videos show Russian soldiers wearing thermal protection gear appearing as unnaturally cold spots on infrared cameras.
That unnatural cold signature actually becomes a warning signal, indicating not a natural object, but a human attempting to conceal themselves.
This highlights one of the paradoxes of technological warfare. The more one tries to hide with imperfect technology, the more visible one may become.
And this raises a critical question. How effective is this so-called invisibility cloak? Is it truly changing the battlefield, or is it merely a media trend? In the next chapter, we will take a deeper look at how thermal camouflage technology actually works, its limitations, and why some countries benefit from it while others may find it more dangerous than helpful. From the first chapter, we've seen that thermal camouflage cloaks are not exaggerated stories or battlefield myths. They are real technologies now being deployed in combat, and they are becoming a new variable in drone-era warfare. But the key question remains: how do these cloaks actually work, and why do some countries succeed with them while others become even more exposed?
To understand this, we need to begin with the basic principles of thermal imaging. These cameras do not see objects the way human eyes do. Instead, they interpret infrared energy emitted by everything around them.
Anything with a temperature above absolute zero emits infrared radiation. The human body, at roughly 37 degrees Celsius, becomes a highly visible heat source when compared to its surroundings.
On the battlefield, especially at night, these temperature differences become even more pronounced. Infrared cameras can clearly distinguish humans from trees, ground surfaces, or buildings with remarkable accuracy.
This is why drones equipped with thermal cameras have become such powerful weapons. They can locate targets without relying on light and are unaffected by traditional camouflage patterns.
Ukraine's thermal camouflage cloaks were designed to address this challenge directly. The key principle is not to make the body unnaturally cold, but to distribute heat evenly so it blends naturally with the environment.
The materials used combine reflective and absorptive properties in carefully balanced proportions. When worn, body heat does not escape as a single bright source, but slowly diffuses through the layers of fabric.
As a result, on infrared displays, the human silhouette no longer appears as a bright, glowing figure. Instead, it becomes a surface with a temperature close to that of the ground or background.
Many military analysts say this is where Ukraine has gained an advantage by understanding how detection systems work rather than attempting extreme concealment.
This stands in contrast to some thermal protection equipment reportedly used by Russian forces, which focused on aggressively blocking heat emission.
When heat is suppressed too much, soldiers appear as unnaturally cold spots on infrared cameras, sharply different from their surroundings.
And AI-trained detection systems, such anomalies are immediate warning signs that indicate a human presence rather than a natural object.
This explains why many videos show Ukrainian drones prioritizing targets that appear as dark shadows or cold spots on infrared screens.
From a tactical perspective, Ukraine's thermal camouflage cloaks do not make soldiers completely invisible. Instead, they reduce detection range and increase the decision-making time required by the opposing force.
On the battlefield, even a few extra seconds can mean the difference between life and death. That is the true value of this technology.
Reports from Ukrainian special operations units indicate that using thermal cloaks alongside slow movement and proper positioning has significantly reduced drone-related casualties.
However, this technology is not without limitations. The cloaks do not perform equally well in all environments.
In areas where temperatures change rapidly or where multiple heat sources are present, such as recently destroyed vehicles or heavily bombarded zones, effective concealment becomes far more difficult.
Proper usage is also critical. If a soldier moves too quickly or exposes parts of the body, heat can still leak through.
This is why Ukraine has not issued these cloaks to all units, but instead restricts them to specially trained forces.
Modern warfare is no longer defined solely by heavy weapons or troop numbers. It is a competition of technological understanding and the ability to apply that knowledge effectively on the battlefield.
Thermal camouflage cloaks have become a symbol of this new era of war, one that is invisible to the naked eye, but decided by data, sensors, and algorithms.
And in the final chapter, we will examine the long-term impact of this technology, how it may reshape global warfare, and where the future battlefield is heading. From the second chapter, we have seen that thermal camouflage cloaks are no longer just supporting equipment. They are becoming one of the core elements of modern warfare. And as this technology moves from theory into real combat use, a much larger question emerges. How is it reshaping the future of battlefields around the world?
Many security analysts agree that we are entering what can be described as a war of visibility. Those who see first gain the advantage, and those who can hide more effectively increase their chances of survival.
In the past, detecting the enemy depended on human eyesight. Combatants had to face each other directly. Today, confrontation can occur without either side ever seeing the other in person.
High-flying drones, long-range sensors, and AI-driven image analysis allow strike decisions to be made within seconds.
In this context, thermal camouflage cloaks are not just defensive tools. They are a way to steal time that forces hesitation, confuses AI systems, and can ultimately change the outcome of an entire mission.
Some experts argue that technologies like this are blurring the traditional distinction between front lines and rear areas, because any location can now become a battlefield.
At the strategic level, reducing the chance of detection allows small units to infiltrate, operate, and withdraw without relying on large-scale forces.
This is what enables smaller or less powerful nations, if they are technologically agile, to challenge much larger military forces.
Ukraine has become a clear example of this concept. A country facing a major military power has managed to use relatively low-cost technologies to rebalance the battlefield.
At the same time, the failure of certain equipment used by Russian forces highlights another reality. Technology that is deployed before it is fully mature can cause more harm than benefit.
Modern warfare is therefore not just a race to acquire the newest tools. It is a competition over who best understands the limitations of their own technology.
Looking ahead, analysts predict that thermal camouflage will not remain limited to cloaks alone. It is likely to be integrated into full combat systems, from uniforms and helmets to equipment and even vehicles.
And as camouflage technology advances, detection systems will evolve alongside it. Higher resolution sensors, smarter AI, and algorithms capable of identifying increasingly subtle anomalies.
This means the competition will never truly end. It will remain an endless technological pursuit.
For soldiers on the battlefield, these developments are not abstract theories. They are matters of life and death. Every decision and every piece of equipment can directly affect survival.
Reports from frontline soldiers indicate that knowing they are less easily detected helps reduce psychological stress and increases confidence during operations.
Conversely, forces that know their enemy may be better concealed are forced to spend more resources, flying drones longer, verifying targets more carefully, and absorbing higher operational costs.
Modern warfare, then, is not only about destroying the enemy, but about forcing them to spend more and more resources until the cost becomes unsustainable.
When you look at the bigger picture, thermal camouflage cloaks represent more than a single piece of equipment. They are a warning sign that global warfare is entering an era where humans increasingly fight against intelligent systems.
In this era, survival depends not only on strength, but on technological understanding, adaptability, and the ability to learn from mistakes.
The story of the so-called invisibility cloak in the Ukraine-Russia war is therefore not just another news report. It is a critical lesson for the entire world.
A lesson that reminds us that on the battlefield of the future, the side that is hardest to see may not be the weakest, but the most dangerous.
And this has been a special report from Talk the World Today, taking you deep into military technologies quietly reshaping our world.
Thank you for listening.
Goodbye.